Hello. Hi guys, I hope it's working. Yeah. The music, yes. I actually downloaded this music before I went on a trip, and I had this whole playlist with me there. So I listened to it there. Apparently, some of this music is not Mongolian, but is in the Kazakh language. It's like a country that is close by, similar vibes, of course, and everything, in instruments. But I played it in the car when we were driving with the guide, and he said, but that's not Mongolian. And it sounds so similar, but it's actually, yeah, it's very similar. Can you hear me? So I had that playlist with me there, and now every time I listen to it, it brings me back to that place. Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah, I think you can hear me. Yes. So Thank you so much. I'm gonna put this microphone down here, so I don't hold it in my hand. I'll also have music in the background. If copyright comes out, I don't care, whatever. This is just a fun live.
Yes.
If the music is too loud, let me know, because I cannot hear right now myself or anything, okay? Sorry again for the troubles, technical issues. Maybe it's a bit too loud. Can you hear the music? Is it too loud? Is it too low? No, the echo, it was just me in the background. I was testing myself. What about the music? Is the music okay? Is the music okay? Is it too loud? Is it too low? Too low? No music. I will turn it up then. It's too far. Now? Okay, well, it doesn't matter that much. You should hear it now. Maybe the microphone is too loud, too far away. Okay, 1 second. Oh my god. Oh. Thank you, Marianne. Okay. So this is gonna be not a very long live. I think we won't go more than an hour. I have to lower it a little bit because it's too loud for me. And I'm going to share this lifelong dream that I had to go to Mongolia. Okay, this was something that I dreamed about for I think half of my life, like literally, at least 15 years. Why Mongolia, would you ask? I don't know. It's been something. Well, especially the Gobi Desert. Oh, my bongo is back from the walk. Yes, especially the Gobi Desert. I will tell you a little bit about the Gobi Desert and why. But yeah, something has always been calling me to that area. It's actually the least inhabited country in the world. It's the emptiest country in the world, and the terrains are very mystical. You know, I've always been very, very drawn to deserts. I love deserts, but not like using desert. It's like Sahara. Now, not necessarily. Actually, the Gobi Desert has so much variety of landscapes. I'm going to show you some few photos here. So it changes constantly. We were driving and driving and driving for hours around the Gobi Desert, but it's just constantly changing the colors, the shapes, the hills, the type of vegetation, the animals, mountains. Why desert? Because of the spaciousness, I think. I love the areas where I can completely feel free and unobstructed, and there's just space. And I just feel very pure in that moment. It's like meditation. You know, you're entering the meditation spot within yourself. There's just this empty space. The same with the space out there. I'm always fantasizing about going on a ship and being completely alone, like in that sort of a deep space area. So yeah. So that's why the desert. Okay, I have, believe it or not, I still have notes. I have some photos I want to show you. I hope it's going to be okay to show you the photos, because in the beginning I thought my technical issue was because of the photos, because I loaded like 30 of them to the program. I thought maybe it's too much, but apparently it's okay. So I've always dreamt of going to Mongolia, the space, the empty deserts areas, the music actually is kind of distracting me, and especially to the Gobi Desert, because it's supposed to be this very, very mystical, highly charged, energetic, etheric place, and not just because of the land itself. Yes? No, it's okay. No, it's okay. Thank you. Not because of the land itself, but actually there's supposed to be Shambhala there. Shambhala, this etheric, ancient, mystical city, somewhere in the etheric realm, underground, I am not sure. But actually, when you look at the story of Lemuria, there are some even TAYGETAN colonies, because Lemuria was a TAYGETAN colony. There were other races involved as well, but TAYGETANs were very, very present. And they had those colonies, and one of those colonies underground was actually in the area of the Gobi Desert. That was like one of the main hubs for the Lemuria. So I strongly believe there's still something there. Hi, Matthias. Yes, he left. There's still something there. Underground civilizations, etheric civilizations. I am not sure. So stay tuned. I will tell you my experience with the Gobi. Funny, because I actually asked, I don't remember if it was Athena or Yaski, if they had any association with Mongolia or Gobi Desert, because I didn't understand why I have so much connection with that. Especially the land, I'm saying. Not so much like the culture itself, but the land and the energy that is there emanating from the land. And they said no, not as far as they remember. And they said perhaps it reminds me of Cindriel, because Cindriel is a similar type of energy and vibe, and is a very high frequency mystical location, and it has desert, ethereal colony. Yes, Cassandra. Yes, Cindy, I was actually watching that series on Netflix, Marco Polo, before going to Mongolia because I was trying to get into the vibe. I actually stopped watching that series because I don't know, it was developing too slow. Like I normally don't mind slow action, but it was just very slow. And anyway, so thank you very much for being here. I'm going to go through my notes and some of the pictures. So I had this dream for forever to go to Mongolia, and I remember last year, like 8 months ago, I'm like, okay, I just have to do this. Like I'm just gonna get it over with, because time is passing by, and we just have to get our dreams fulfilled. If something is on your mind, and you can do it, well then do it. So that's how I usually live my life. If something calls me, that I go for it. This has been calling me for such a long time, so this was finally time to do it. And I went by myself. People are asking, "Oh, you went alone?" Well, yeah, I love to travel by myself. And this was like a personal retreat for me. I wanted to be by myself. In fact, Matthias, for example, my partner, boyfriend, he doesn't like to be called boyfriend. He doesn't like necessarily those kinds of adventures. He's more into sunshine and beaches, something tropical, relaxing. And this was going around the Gobi Desert for 6 days without sometimes any bathroom. Sleeping conditions were so. I'll tell you about it in a second. So yeah, so I went by myself, no problem at all. I had stuff organized, so it's not like I went and I was just randomly trying to find something to do there. I knew exactly what I was going to do, and I had the Gobi trip prepared. I actually booked the Gobi trip before. I wanted to do it by myself, okay? My dream was to just maybe like rent a car or camp somewhere and meditate all night and sit there. Yeah. But in fact, when I started researching, it's not that easy. It's not actually recommended to go by yourself around Gobi Desert because it is very difficult to navigate. It is very difficult to navigate. It's very difficult to drive around. There are roads, yes, but to get to those specific places, you need to know where you're going. It's not that easy. Plus, renting a car is actually quite expensive there. So it's a project in itself. So what is recommended is that you book a guide, and you maybe join a group. I was lucky because I only had 2 people in the group with me, and it was a couple from Philippines. They were a young couple from Philippines, first time seeing a desert, and they were flipping out like, "Wow, what is that?" It was amazing also to see their reactions. They were very nice. So I was not alone, but it was the only way to do it. The guide knew exactly where to go, the paths, how to get to locations, different families each night. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself because I wanted to tell you about the Gobi Desert. But let's go back to the beginning. When I actually stepped out of my house, let's go back all the way back to the house, yes. Robert was here because Robert came to take care of Bongo because Matthias is working. So he came here to babysit Bongo, and he walked me to the bus stop. Matthias was working. And at that time, I don't know, for the first time in my life, I actually felt like a little bit uncomfortable. Come on, I travel everywhere. I went to Australia by myself for the first time when I went there to study. To Costa Rica, USA. So I'm a very nomadic personality. It's no problem for me to face the unknown by myself. But for some reason, I started to feel a little jittery when I was going to the airport. I don't know why. I'm like, what am I doing to myself? I was so comfortable at home on my couch. But it was very brief. It was very brief. Okay, and then I actually went to Germany, from Helsinki to Germany. I had to wait 8 hours in the Germany airport, and then direct flight from Germany to Mongolia, only about 8 hours and a half, 9 hours. That was all from Germany to Mongolia capital Ulaanbaatar. Very, very comfortable. Very comfortable flight. Actually, that was when it first hit me, when I first stepped onto the plane, and they were playing Mongolian music, folkloric music, and the stewardess, the cabin crew were all wearing these Mongolian clothes. So I started to feel a little emotional at that time. I remember, like, wow, I'm really going to Mongolia. That's unbelievable. Even I got a bit teary. Oh, this song, I will have to tell you about it. Okay, I have to tell you, this is actually amazing. This song that is coming on now, I wrote myself. I made this song. This song I made about 10 years ago or something, I don't know. And it's a tribute to Mongolia. I made this song with the images of Mongolian, and also how I imagined the sounds would be, the music, what it transmitted to me. It's on my other channel, by the way. I have my music channel that is called Dager Sol, and I used to make music, like before this experience with the TAYGETANs started. Very amateur, okay? Very amateur, of making it all by myself at home. Thank you very much, Bent. Okay, thank you very much, Bent. Let's just focus on this nice Mongolian experience here, relaxing. So this is the music that I made, a tribute to Mongolia, because I was already pining to go there. It's on my channel, Dager Sol, if you want to check it out. And anyway, so the flight was very comfortable. Big flights, long flights, you have entertainment and meals. No problem. Okay, now we are arriving in Mongolia. Now, an amazing thing that actually happened there from the beginning was that I announced, well, I didn't announce. I just made a question on my Facebook before going there, maybe 2 months before. And the question was, is anybody from Mongolia? And few people responded, and I started chatting with them privately, and they are the Mongolian followers of the Cosmic Agency. So I asked them, like, hey guys, because I was very curious, do you want to meet? And they said, yeah, sure. And I met a few of them before even getting there. And one of them, the lady called Enke, super helpful from the beginning. She actually picked me up from the airport with her driver. She coordinated the SIM card for me because I had to replace the phone card. She coordinated that. She then organized a few events, like a national events in the city. So I was actually shocked. I was shocked that there are people in Mongolia that are following this information. I was very surprised. Later I will tell you about the meeting with them. And apparently there are even more of them out there. It's just that they didn't come to the meeting, they're living in different parts of Mongolia. And yeah, thank you, Bent. Yes, I understand. So I was shocked, about that fact, that pretty much anywhere in the world there's someone, at least one person, who knows about this information. And not only that, Enke, the lady, actually even deals with translating main messages to the Mongolian language. Yeah, she does the translating. Anyway, so she picked me up from the airport. I wasn't actually that tired when I arrived there. I thought it's going to be very long, after the flight. But it was actually okay. So my first 4 days in the city capital, Ulaanbaatar, I stayed in the city. I wanted to check out the city because even though my main goal was the Gobi Desert, I was super interested also to see, what the people like, when you would go to the cafe, what are they like? It was my first time in Asia. I've never been to Asia. I've been to Turkey, but that's like between Europe and Asia. So anyway, my first days in a city, I felt actually very good being the only blonde person in the street. Robert was asking me like, are they looking at you? Are you standing out? Well, yeah, I'm standing out, but I was standing out, but no one really paid much attention to it. I mean, these are international people. I was actually very surprised how big and modern and hip and young the city is. You are thinking probably to yourself, oh my God, like Mongolia, it's like somewhere in the middle of nowhere. No. This is a very modern city. The capital city, Ulaanbaatar, very modern. People actually very fashionable, more fashionable than in Helsinki. Because in Finland, everybody is wearing very comfortable clothes. It's like more nature oriented. But there you could actually see, the girls in high heels and dresses and makeup. I haven't seen makeup here ever, I think. If they do wear makeup, it's not Finnish people, mostly. So I was very, very, very surprised, about how big it was and modern, very, very modern buildings together with older buildings, because they still have a lot of buildings after the Soviet era, kind of like in Poland, because the Soviet, the communists had their influence all over that area as well, and you can see it in their constructions, in architecture, in the buildings. But I was very, very happy walking around. Not many people were paying attention to me, and I felt good because, you know why? I felt I was alone there in my own bubble, because the fact that I didn't belong there in a way made me feel very comfortable, like I was just completely in my own universe. Because here with the people, I am kind of in the Finnish universe, because I'm blending in with them. But there I was so standing out that much that I felt I was in my own bubble, in my own reality, in my own universe. It's hard to explain this feeling. But I enjoyed it very much. People speak English, but not everybody. Here, for example, everybody speaks English. In Finland, almost. But there, half. And I also noticed that some people who did not speak English, they were not maybe super approachable. They were still distant. But I think it's because of the language barrier, because they felt they couldn't communicate really well, so they kind of like tried to get it over with. Maybe they were shy. So you could feel that distance a little bit because of the language. Yes. Okay, so one of the places I went to in the city was Gandan Monastery. And that was a very, very one of the biggest monasteries in Mongolia, Buddhist monasteries. One of them remaining, because a lot of them were destroyed by Stalin. That was a Stalin purge, and he was coming and destroying so many Buddhist temples and architecture. So not many of them, comparing to other Asian countries, are still there and still standing. But this one in the city, yes, it was still there. What I felt from it, because there are different buildings, many people associate Buddhism not with the religion, but with the philosophy, state of mind, enlightenment, meditation, and all that. But in fact, I must tell you that, I was just there for 2 weeks, but I felt a lot of religion from it emanating. I felt it was so immersed in ornaments and prayers and chants and protocols, images, statues, colors. It was worshipping, leaving money, leaving offerings. It was such a feeling. I had a strong feeling that it's just another religion at that point. Of course, it's such a diverse field, the Buddhism, and there are some in the schools and some in the different paths. But I'm talking about, those temples and that I visited. It was just like a Catholic church, but Buddhist version. You know what I mean? Rituals, yeah, rituals, and it was just, I don't know. I mean, I saw those monks there in one of the temples, and they were just sitting there and like just doing their thing, with the beads, and actually, some people told me later that many boys, for example, early age, they are kind of forced to this path to become monks, and it's kind of like imposed on them many times. And many of these monks are kind of making business out of this as well. That's what our guide told us, the Gobi Desert guide, that many of them, for example, it's kind of like priests in the Catholic Church. They say, okay, we have the connection to the Buddha, and you have to come and give us money, and if you have a problem, then we're going to do the chant, and we're going to do the beads, and we are going to connect with the Buddha, and we're going to do the healing for you, and that's going to cost you 20 euros. So these people, instead of like connecting themselves, they are seeing those monks as this bridge between them and the divine realm, and paying money. So it's kind of like an institution. Yeah, it's like a religion. Of course, I'm not saying I'm giving big generalization based on the few things that I saw and that I felt, and what the people there were telling me. Which this is what the religion they have. It's a Mongolian Buddhism, Mongolian version of the Buddhism, Tibetan Mongolian, something like that, mixed. But most of the people are very open, especially the young people. But that's what I felt. I felt that when I'm going to go there to those temples, I'm just going to be immersed, in a peace and meditation. I don't know, like that new agey, the Western version of how we perceive that. Me myself, I have Buddha statues, and it's like it's supposed to transmit peace. But when I was there, it just transmitted to me religion. It was just too saturated with the offerings and the images and statues, and people were coming there. I saw the Mongolian people going in there and just like doing their thing, like just giving the offering, giving a flower, going around with their prayer wheels, which I didn't know what they were in the beginning. Like you have to like spin them and go around clockwise direction. And when you spin those prayer wheels, supposedly, I didn't know what I was for at the start, but supposedly there are prayers inside, written texts, and when you spin it, then it's kind of like doing the praying for you. So the praying wheel, you spin it and you send that prayer to the ether, and that's basically you doing the prayer, just spinning the wheel. I have a photo. I have a lot of photos on my Facebook. This photo I don't have with the prayer wheels, but yeah, that's what I felt. It's like a religion. Okay, now let me show you a photo that I have. One second. This is our group. You see, this is Enke, the one with the glasses. I know, they all look very serious, but believe me, they were not so serious. They just, for some reason, looked very serious in the photo. And Enke, and then 3 other people there that came. The guy with the chain, with the necklace, he said that he never even spoke English in his life, like in real life. He knew English, but he never spoke to anybody live with anybody. This was the cafe that we went to. He actually brought me gifts. Okay, one of the gifts that he brought me, his name was Ochko. Oh, sorry. Wait a second. One of the gifts he gave me, I was afraid in the beginning, like, what is this? Is this some kind of what is that? Ooh. It's actually to hang on the wall. It actually broke on a plane. I fixed it with a super glue. But no, this is actually a protective entity. This is some kind of a deity, supposedly, that protects from evil entities. And that's why it's so angry. It looks angry because it protects you. It goes there and fights and battles for you against those evil entities. So this is actually a protector. This is what I heard. And what else? Well, he also gave me other stuff, but I have it on the shelf there. It's not for here. Okay. Let me go to the live to the chat for a second. So, Emke, she was so nice. She took me to this performance outside of the city with her driver, and we drove there, and it was in the middle of a desertic area, and and we participated in this group demonstration of the nomadic life, where a whole group of them were showing us their old ways of how they used to do things. What they cook, how they make those gers, which, by the way, these houses, the run houses, that's called ger. I mean, I know the people call it yurt, but they call it ger. So they were showing us horse demonstrations, different things, how they make wool and things like that. So I took some pictures here. Like I said, on my Facebook, there's so many more photos. Okay, I'm skipping, by the way. I know I could be talking in detail about each of these events, but I have to keep going here. Chenrasi, I believe he's called. I'm not sure. Okay, what's that? So the city, like I told you, is much bigger and more modern than I imagined. Now, on another day, before going to the Gobi Desert, I went to see the huge Genghis Khan statue. This is a statue, let me show you the photo here, that is standing more or less 1 hour and a half from the city in the middle of a desert. And it's actually the world's biggest equestrian statue, which means horse statue with a man. And you actually go up here. You go up here. Yes. There is an elevator. Actually, there's stairs. Elevator and stairs. Super narrow, almost claustrophobic. And you go all the way here, just underneath his arm, and you stand there and you can take pictures. I actually met a bunch of Polish guys there. There was a group of Polish guys, 6 of them there. But anyway, it was amazing views, very impressive statue. If you ask yourself, who is this guy? Well, let me tell you that this guy is a very famous in Mongolia. This is actually like a very revered personality, and it is a Mongolian leader. He was born in 1162, so a very long time ago, but he was a very adored emperor, and not just a conqueror, but he's seen as the founder of the Mongolian nation, and he's like the symbol of the Mongolian identity. Very proud of him, and he is everywhere. He's on the money. The airport is called by his name. He created, supposedly, well, not supposedly, he created the largest land empire in history that stretched all the way even to the Eastern Europe. So it was an interesting trip. Also, you have to probably, the best way to get there is by hiring a driver or a guide. Not even taxis really get there. So yeah. Yes, Genghis Khan, Charlie Kennedy. Yes, 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 that's right. And he's everywhere. You see him absolutely everywhere in souvenirs. No, I don't have it. Actually, this is a tea because you might not know this, but I collect herbal teas, and I got this tea. Among others, I got three, I think, different kinds. I couldn't bring more because I actually only had one backpack. Believe it or not, I travel very lightly. Believe it or not, I only had a carry-on luggage. I only had a carry-on backpack. That's all. For 2 weeks, I just had like 3 pieces of clothing that I kept changing, and then half of my backpack were my cameras, actually. One camera and the second camera. So I couldn't bring. This is all transparent because it's green. Anyway, I'll tell you about the tea later on. How they make? Oh, actually, I will tell you now. The way they make their tea, it's not very nice unless it grows on you with time. They actually make it with milk and they add salt to it. Salt. So it's salty tea. Salty tea. Some of the families that we visited on the Gobi Desert, they were putting less salt because they already knew that the tourists don't like it. But yeah, you mix this with milk and with salt, and that's their way. Yes, I travel light, but I'm thinking sometimes I take it too far because I really take nothing. It's like I take 2 shirts for 2 weeks. Somehow I don't know. Somehow I manage. Actually, no. What am I saying? No. I do a trick. You know what the trick is, right? I put clothes on myself. So I put like 4 different types of clothing on myself, layers, and then maybe two additional shirts in a backpack. That's how I do it. Always with layers, because I am very well. Matthias calls me he calls me a Jew. That's what he says. Meaning that I try to save anywhere I can. I mean, obviously, why would I be paying extra if I don't have to? Why would I have to pay for the extra luggage if I don't have to? I would just put clothes on myself. That's just my way. Must be a Polish way because this is how I grew up. My family, my mom is the same way. Cindy, I don't know how to travel light. Yeah, Matthias is the same. When he's traveling, he's always adding suitcases and extra luggage, and it's like in our relationship, he's a girl and I am a guy. Okay, yes, Cassandra, salt for hydration and electro. Yes, that's true because one of them told us that one of their older ways to hydrate, when they were, for example, traveling through the deserts, nomadic families. That's what it's for, to add electrolytes. I remember it was mentioned. Anyway, so let's continue. Now, another interesting thing I did. What is that? Oh yeah, this was also in a Genghis Khan statue. Underneath, on the first floor, there was a place where you can pay like €5, and you could choose a garment, a national costume, and take photos. So that's where this photo is from. I took that, and they put a hat on me, and I took a photo. So that's what it's from. Now, I also visited in a city that's still before going to the Gobi Desert. I went to Winter Palace. It's called Winter Palace. It is now a museum. It used to be a Khan's, residence, but it is now a palace. But why am I mentioning this? Because there is talking about Tartaria and giants. I'm messing here. Okay, talking about Tartaria and giants. You see this giant over here? Well, he lived in that winter palace. That winter palace is called Bogd Khan, and it was a home of Khans, but also of a special elephant. Okay, an elephant lived there. It was a gift from Russia between 1912 and 13. And he was living there on the property, on the palace grounds. This elephant lived there for about 12 years. And this giant, this man, took care of the elephant. He was called Ondor Gongor. And he was about 2 meters and 36 centimeters tall. Some stories even say that more. And supposedly he suffered from gigantism, and he was and he became a very well-known figure in the early 20th century Mongolia. So this is the photo that I took with my camera at the entrance of that winter palace. So that was very interesting. There's a lot of there's other stories of very, very tall people in that region. Yes. Okay. So now let's continue. I'm still not on the Gobi Desert. So finally, I'm skipping through. Enke, the lady, the follower, the friend of Cosmic Agency, she also took me to this national theater where you could see the national dance and singing, folkloric dancing and singing. It was so beautiful and nice, very varied, very rich culture, very, very rich. Now, when I was there, I was thinking, while looking at that, I was thinking, this is just incredible how on one planet, and that's why I love so much the planet Earth, how much potential it has, because on this one planet we have so many different nationalities and rich customs, and each of these countries have different costumes. You have no idea the variety of costumes, the hats, jewelry, the ornaments, the designs, music that goes with it, and chanting and singing and dancing and moving. And the way they move is very like they are reflecting the landscapes. So they have these hills that go like that. So many of their moves are like that, and they like trying to embody the landscapes. It's just incredible. And then you go beyond the Mongolian frontier, and then you have another country, and then they have their own stories and legends and their own ways of dressing and singing and language. It's incredible. It's all in the same planet. This is crazy. When you go to Taygeta, for example, you have 4 planets with the same culture and the language. I am in awe. Anyway, so now let's go back to the day where we are leaving to the Gobi Desert, which is the highlight of my trip. Okay, let me just go to the chat. Did you meet any shamans in Mongolia? I wanted to. I, in fact, asked Enke and another girl, which I will tell you about a bit later, if they know of any shamans. And, there was one. Well, the shamans are usually not in a city. They are usually living in small villages and more towards the western Mongolia. That's where Altai mountains are. Another beautiful location. I haven't been there. I would love to go back just to check out the Altai region. But yeah, I haven't seen any shamans. But I remember this girl, another follower girl. She said that she knows of certain healers in the city, massage therapist versus slash healers. But apparently when she called asking for the appointment, because she was helping me with everything, they were reluctant to do it for a foreigner. I don't know why. Like she's a foreigner. I don't know. So I don't know. And in the end, I didn't go there. But yeah, I didn't meet any shamans. Okay. So finally the day arrived after 4 days. Oh yeah, where we left to the Gobi Desert. As I told you, I had to have a guide. It was actually so much more comfortable to have a guide because You just chill and relax, and he takes you to all these faraway locations that otherwise it would be so hard to find. Each night, each night, we spent the night, we spent it with a different family, a different nomadic family in those girls. So how would I be able to find them by myself? It would have added so much more trouble and effort to organizing everything. He was just taking us everywhere. The food was included as well. So the accommodation was included, the food was included. It was really worth it. It was really worth it. There was just one negative from that, and I will tell you about it a bit later on, what the negative was. Anyway, I showed you the teas, I showed you the protector, which by the way, I have him sitting there on a shelf, and I feel like he's protecting against some negative entities floating around there, possibly, or not, I don't know. The tea I showed you. Okay, so when we left with my Filipino friends, Filipino couple, we were driving. It's a lot of driving per day. That's what you have to take into consideration. To go from one location to another, the Gobi is so huge that to go from one location to another, and every day we're like seeing different nice place and different staying in a different family. So we had to drive for hours daily, like minimum 4 hours, 5 hours daily, just driving. The couple behind me, because I was at the front seat, which by the way, they are driving on the right side, like in England. I was surprised. Some of them drive on the right side, and some of them on the left side. Like it's mixed. It's however you want. But my guide was driving on the right side. The Filipino couple was at the back, sleeping most of the time. I couldn't sleep. I was listening to my Mongolian playlist and chatting a little bit, not much. The Mongolian guide was very, very peaceful, very quiet, didn't interact much, which was good for me because then I could just really focus on the landscapes and what I was feeling. Because that was my worry, that if I'm with people, it usually takes me away from the experience. You know, you want to connect with the experience, be there with that land, feel the energy, contemplate, be with your own thoughts and your mind. And then if you are talking to someone, this takes you away from your center. But he was very, very respectful. He didn't try to, be chatty or anything. So that was very good. And I was constantly looking around at everything and taking photos and opening the window every 5 minutes to take my recordings with my Insta camera, which is an action camera, and I was taking amazing shots, like from the bottom of the car, from the up of the car, the side. The video will not come out until next year because I am very behind with my traveling videos because I do it as a pure hobby. I don't have time to dedicate to that, but I do it little by little every day. So next year, sometime, you will see it. So this is, I love this photo here because this is the photo where we first stopped. We stopped and got out of the car. It was a pee break, which by the way, everybody pees on the side of the road somewhere. You have to. And also, many times there is nowhere to hide. So you just have to go and pee. The Filipino girl, she had an umbrella with her just in case, but I don't know, I haven't seen her using it. And I love this photo because we are like coming out and like, oh my God, look at this space. And especially the guy behind me in the yellow shirt, this is a Filipino guy. And he's like, oh my God, look at this. This is so spacious. There's no end to the landscape. We're like amazed. So I really like that photo. So yeah, I told you about the driving. It's a lot of hours driving, but it's beautiful and it's always changing. It's not like, I repeat, you always see the same desert. You are always seeing something different. The vegetation, the plants change, not many trees, but hills, the colors of the land, mountains, there's always something new. The gears, these houses that I have behind me here, are absolutely everywhere. I thought that they are just somewhere. Like maybe, there's some remains of the nomadic lifestyle here and there, but no, they're like everywhere. Even when you are driving around the city, a lot of people have them as an addition to their property, within their property, because they are very cheap. They are very cheap and super easy to install. I would like to have one. Like if I had a property, I would totally install it. It takes about 1 hour or 2 hours, depending on your skills, to install that. And it, with all the installations, it cost about 2,500 euros. Yes, that's what the guide told us. And you have a house, and in the middle you have a stove where you are cooking. Where you see the thing that's a ventilator. It's like the cooking there. The windows, well, there are no windows. That's the only thing. But there is on the top there is like a sky view. So the light comes in through here and through the door. But it's definitely very comfy, and they live there, and those girls are everywhere. It's like the most convenient way of just living, and it's not just for the nomadic families, like I said. Originally, that's how it is, and nomadic families use them, but I saw them everywhere. And they are, they have everything there. So on one side there is a bedroom, then there is a kitchen on the other side. I'll show you some photos in a second. And then there is, a TV. Yeah, I saw that, even TV, some of them in the middle of nowhere. So they have everything there. Now, when you are driving, a lot of animals. You see animals all the time. What kind of animals? Horses, of course, which actually, by the way, Mongolia has more horses than people, more wild stock than people. You see horses, you see sheep, goats, yaks, but you also see cows, and you also see camels. Big, huge herds of camels. And what's amazing is that these animals are free, but they are not wild. Maybe in the Western Mongolia, there are a lot of wild horses and wild animals, but most of these animals here are actually not wild. They belong to the families. That's what these families do for the living. They actually herd, and they live from those animals. They are farm animals, but they are free, totally free. And that's amazing, because they were saying to us that they eat meat, which, by the way, it's a huge meat-eating culture. Meat is so much in their diet, but it's very organic, because those animals are free, completely, totally free. Sometimes they get lost. It could happen. But what happens in those situations that, first they have herders, the guys on horses or on motorcycles or in the cars, who are making sure that the animals go where they're supposed to go. Or when they get lost, another family, they can end up in another family property. Well, it's not a property, because they are setting up their camps, nomadic camps, in a public area. It doesn't belong to anybody. It's all free. It's such a free country. So those animals could end up in another family, but then this family knows, okay, this is not ours, we're going to take it back. But sometimes, to be honest, I saw individual horses, or even young horses, alone, very far away. We saw a little lamb trying to find shade in one of these bushes, super far away from any groups of animals. I even said one time to the guide, I said, we should stop, and we should take this lamb and bring it to another family, the next family that we see on the road, because it's just going to die there, no? Oh my God. But apparently, he didn't want to do that. He said it'll be fine. They know where the wells are, because it's very hot. But they remember, they are very smart. They live there, that's their life. They're survivors. So they know where the water is. They know where to go. Like I said, on a few occasions, they can get lost, but they are free. So the meat is very healthy. It's not, it's not animals raised in in those industrial factories. And the meat tastes different. The beef that I had there was a bit different. I don't know if I was super into it. It was just like a different flavor. I don't know, very strong, different flavor. Okay, let me check the here. Yes, Rasis, Mongolia is not made for vegans or vegetarians. Well, they have salads and stuff and wheat flour. I'm going to show you later what they eat. They have this like pasta dish made with wheat flour pasta. So it's possible, but for example, if you are interested in going there and booking a guide or a tour, you have to make sure, okay, specify that you are a vegan or vegetarian, because it's going to be hard to provide for you. Anyway, now, okay, this was very strange. Do you know how I love, maybe you don't know, I love something I discovered last year only iced coffee, iced latte. I don't drink coffee. I never drank coffee in my whole life. I still do not drink coffee. I don't. It doesn't do anything for me. I don't like the taste. But last year, in the summer, I discovered iced coffee. I was just very curious. I just bought it. Like, okay. And suddenly I got hooked on this, and everywhere I go, I have to have it. Like, it's such a chilly feeling it gives me. Such a vibe. I don't know how to describe this. Such a relaxing feeling that it gives me. So I don't know if you remember, I don't know if I said it somewhere, when we went with Matthias in May, I think we went for a few days to Spain because he wanted to get away a little bit from work and relax. I wanted to, because it was a difficult time for me. All this year was like I've been telling you, this was like the worst year of my life. So at that time in April, I needed a break too. We went to Spain, and there was no iced coffee anywhere. And you know what the reason was? It's not the season. What? Like, in Finland, you can have minus 20 degrees and snow, and they will still give you iced coffee. That's what I do many times here in the winter. I order it to go, and I walk with Bongo, and there is snow outside, and I'm drinking my iced coffee. But in Spain, it wasn't there because it's not season. And why am I saying this? Because look at that. In the middle of Gobi Desert, we found this tent. And then they had iced coffee. I could not believe it. And I was laughing. I had to take this picture because I was showing Matthias, look at this. In Spain, in a big city, Alicante, huge city, they didn't have it because it wasn't the season. And there, the Gobi has it. There. It was a bit different in flavor though. The flavor was, I don't know, like tougher, stronger. A bit different, not so good, I would say, but it's still okay. I liked White Weagle. You know what's better? Self-made iced coffee with caramelized sugar syrup. Self-made. What do I make that is self-made? I'm sorry, I'm not a very chef, so it's very hard for me to actually do something that is self-made. Yeah, it's not my specialty to cook. And prepare stuff, to be honest. I do, of course, prepare some stuff. I have to, but it's not my specialty. But anyway, I drink iced coffee with the chocolate syrup. That's usually how I do it. Anyway, let's continue on. Now, I told you that we were with the different families each night. That was an amazing thing. That this photo that I have is one of the camps. Each night we were with a different nomadic family, and they are nomadic families, which means they stay there for about 6 months, more or less, and then they move to another location while once the animals that they have finished eating what the land provides. So they have to move to another location. When it's winter, because actually the winter is very, very harsh there. It's actually one of the coldest places in Asia, or maybe in the world. Yeah, believe it or not, it's not so north, but it gets super drastic freezing temperatures. So in winter, what do they do? Because I mean, those girls have insulation, but the animals and all that, well, they go to so-called winter camps. The winter camps, where the animals are in some kind of an indoor facility. So they move. First, they are here for 6 months. Several different, maybe uncle lives here and, brother lives there. They have cars, so they move also by car. But yeah, and then they go to another winter camp. Next year, they might come back to the same location, which actually I was telling my guide, Gala, his name is Gala, I was telling Gala, well, that's actually not so nomadic when you think about it, because if you're going back to the same location, having so much variety of landscapes, I'm not saying that they all go back to the same location. It's just what he said, that some of them do. They have their favorite spots, they go, and then for the winter they go somewhere else, and then they come back next year. Well, it's not super nomadic, because for example, I'm changing countries, continents, but they are still moving within the same country and with the same spots, like they choose the same spots. So it's nomadic, but they still have attachments to their location, so they come back. Yeah, the attachments to the spots are still there. Of course, I'm talking generally. Okay, let's continue. What is this Curious L? He always comes and talks about this Jamaican black castor oil. What is that? Is it some kind of a spam? I think it's, what is this? And in the same, I think it's a bot, and it's exactly the same message that in the last live I saw the same thing. Change your life, dark journalist, Michael Sala. What is this? Maybe admins, you can delete that because I think it's a bot. Okay. Now, so I was telling you, each night, different family. So, for example, here I have one family, see? And, one second. One family here, and each night we were taking, each day we were taking photos with different family. Then, for example, this one here. Well, this family, this lady was actually not nomadic. They told us that she's not nomadic. She lives in a town nearby, but she has set up this ger camp for the tourists, for people like us, travelers who come and they want to have this experience. And look at that! Look at that! Look at that! Wait. Okay, here it is. So you see, this is the camel that I bought from this lady. Supposedly she makes them. This is what it was. It was on top of her shelf there in the ger. She made this. I wasn't sure if I should buy the white one because I didn't know if they have white camels in real life. I didn't want to buy a color that is not real. But I asked them and they said it does exist. By the way, this is not a hole. Okay, I cannot put my finger through it. It's just that it's a green patch. So you cannot, that's why it's coming out, because I have a green screen behind me. But yes, so this is I say that she made it supposedly because I'm not sure, because later I saw many of these camels in stores, maybe a bit different design. So I don't know. And then I bought this little ger that goes together with the camel. And this ger here inside even has furniture. And it's handmade. Handmade. And it even has furniture. On the topic of gifts, like I said, I couldn't buy a lot of things because, first of all, it is cheap, okay? It's very reasonably priced. Even souvenirs in a souvenir shops for tourists, but I didn't have space because I only had a carry-on, and later on I added one more carry-on because I did want to bring some things, and also because one of the followers gave me statue. I cannot show you because it's not my shelf. Anyway, this is something I bought for my teas because, as I told you, I like teas. And this is a Mongolian cup. Okay. This is what I got. And from Matthias, I wasn't sure what to get because he's very practical. He always says that he likes to have practical gifts. So it's difficult. So I got him this, but he's not using it. I got him this for cereal. I said, hey, if you can have cereal in this, because he eats cereal, then that will be your practical gift, no? But he says it's too small.
I don't eat cereal.
You eat cereal?
No.
What do you eat? Oatmeal. Well, it's the same thing. It's the same family of. No. Okay. He says it's not cereal. Has to be specific. It's oatmeal, mixed with some frozen fruits and stuff like that. Wiggle room, a little girl dollhouse. Yes. Yeah, cups with covers are the best. I agree. Yes. So anyway, do you agree that oatmeal is not a cereal? What do you think about that? Is oatmeal part of the cereal family? So these are my gifts. And later I showed you what stones I have. I brought some stones from the desert. Okay, I'm going to look at the chat later. Is oatmeal cereal or not? That's the question. Question of the day. Key account, no. Oatmeal a cereal. Anyway, I'm going to investigate this later on. Oh, for gummy bears. He does. Oh yeah, for gummy bears. He does eat gummy bears. Cheeks. You can put gummy bears in there. It's funny because I called him Cheeks because you can put gummy bears in this. Someone said you can put gummy bears. Yes, you can put gummy bears in that. Look, cereals are grains. Oatmeal is a grain. So they are all grains.
Yeah, but people, when they have cereals, it's like this sugary crap, you know.
Yeah, but yes.
Totally.
Yeah, because he associates cereal with these sugary, some flakes that are chocolatey. Someone says oatmeal is not a cereal, and someone says oatmeal is a cereal. So anyway, this is a question to analyze. Anyway, oh yeah, what was I saying? Yes, anyway, so let's continue. Can you hear the music? Oh yeah, it's not a processed cereal, but it's cereal. I'm gonna have something to drink in the meantime. Someone says it's not a processed cereal. Ask Jabba. Okay, can you hear the music or not? Can someone say? How long are we online? Okay. Because I still have to get to like my 1 hour and 13 minutes. I'll try to speed it up now. Okay, so 1 second. Okay, this is another family, as you see. Each time I was taking pictures with different family. Now here we have the ger, as you see. This is where we were staying, and it's very nice. The bed is very hard, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's definitely easy to sleep on it. Some people might complain that it's hard. What was especially hard were the pillows. The pillows were just unbelievably strange. Actually, as you see here, the pillow on my right side is very small and hard. I actually got myself a neck pain when I was there. And the neck pain that is not going away. I still have, boy, I still have, I still have a neck pain from Mongolia, sleeping in a ger. Oh, again, this Curious L. Curious L, what's happening here? Why are you promoting stuff? Okay, now let's continue on. Interesting thing that some of these kids that were there were very. I have a picture. 1 second. Do I have a picture? No, it was my other pictures before. Never mind. We're very interested in electronics, so you could see that they were in the middle of a desert, but they were still playing with their iPads and computers and some kind of phones, and there were even TVs in some locations. About the food, here you can see this is that wheat flour dish with some meat, with some vegetable, and that it's like made of wheat flour. Again, it wasn't my favorite, to be honest. You could add sauces to it. There are all kinds of interesting sauces, like some kind of a mushroom oil sauce. So that was necessary because it was pretty dry without it. Now each night we were going to a different location. Like for example, here you can see this is called White Stupa, and it was like a huge area just covered with these light-colored mountainy rock formations. Here you have another one on another day, cliffs. So as you can see, every day you could see something different. And here you could, and here, sand dunes. This was a highlight for the Filipino people. They really loved this. The problem was that this is where I broke my camera. I don't know if I said it somewhere, but my camera that I have actually broke here because I took it out very fast and to take a photo. But the problem was that it was super stormy. There was so much sand and so much storm that it was impossible to breathe. I could literally feel the sand grains in my throat, my eyes, my eyelashes. So my camera lost its focus. It's not focusing properly. I don't know what I have to do about that. Maybe change the lens. I don't know. Anyway, so that's that. Now about the rocks. One evening, I had some free time, and I got myself these rocks. You see, the small one, I have it here with me. The green one, see? I have it here. It's actually more green than it looks. It's the same one. And the energy here in this specific spot was very nice, very elevated, super like liberating. I don't know how to explain that. Yeah. And then the big one, they took it away at the airport. I took it with me, but the security guys took it away. It was in my purse. So if you are ever going to bring rocks, that's my recommendation. Put it in your checked-in luggage if you have it, because carry-on, small rocks are okay, but the big ones, they are going to take it away. And these are other rocks that I brought. I got this one, I have this one, and I brought one for Robert as well, and these ones. So I have it all around on the shelves. Very nice, very nice. But I do feel sad about my the big one. Anyway, so let's continue on. Okay, let's continue on now. Okay, I will tell you about. Oh yes, this is another. You see, the Gers, another camp. I have that photo behind me. 1 second, please. And this is a beautiful valley. This is us walking there, where again, in the middle of a desert of Gobi, because the Gobi has so much variety. It's amazing. This is it's a national park called Yol Valley National Park, where you can just walk here across these mountains in this canyon. There's a small river on the side, and it was very, 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 very beautiful. So I repeat, every day it was something different. Now, I'll tell you about the specific experience with the Gobi energy and with the Gobi desert. You see, and that's where the problem comes in. The trip in itself was amazing. The spots that we saw were amazing. The landscapes were amazing. The experience with the families was amazing. But I didn't have enough time by myself just to feel the desert. Why? Because there wasn't enough time to ourselves. You see, these rocks, yeah, I took them from this location and there, but okay, first you are driving 5 hours. Then you are getting to a specific location, like a touristy spot, like the valley or the dunes, the sand dunes or something. And then you are driving again to the family where you have a dinner, because we had dinner with those families. So each evening, maybe we had 1 hour to ourselves to rest. And during that time, we were already super tired. So the Filipino guys were just resting in the ger on their beds. I was maybe taking pictures and videos, because that's something I had to do as well. Taking pictures, taking the videos, for my channel. Hello guys, this is the next night. And then the dinner with the family, and then resting a little bit. And then it was getting dark at 9. So, and everybody was going to sleep after that. There was not enough time for me just to sit there and contemplate the desert itself. Maybe sometimes, yes, but not enough. So I do feel a bit dissatisfied with that, because nothing super mystical happened. I'm sorry, nothing super. I didn't have any specific vision. Yes, I felt that one spot where I was showing you the rocks, that it was very elevating, very like liberating. Like there was some kind of portal to something, and I'm sure if I spent more time, something could have opened there. But we were super tired. The nights were cloudy most of the time, so we couldn't actually see the stars. And another thing is, there are a lot of different bugs there, scorpions and snakes and all kinds of critters. So at night they come out more, and you have to be more careful. So it's not like you can just go there and sit with your feet, nature, meditate. Because I was trying to do that, but I was also aware of my surroundings. I had to be like, okay, where do I put my hand? Where do I put my foot? Now I cannot see much. And then I couldn't spend much time out there on the desert in the evening, because the Filipino people were already sleeping, and I couldn't just go there with my flashlight. I'm very non-invasive. I tried not to obstruct people and not to disrupt anybody, like super respectful. So I don't want them to be waking up, when I'm coming back. So I was trying to go to sleep when they were going to sleep. So because of all that, I didn't have super mystical experiences. I still, of course, loved it. But yeah, it's missing for me a little bit that alone time with the desert itself. And probably things were happening, in the astral, in my dreams, in that sleep state, maybe, but I am not super aware of that. However, of course, I was getting recharged, I was getting purified, I was getting free and, happy for sure. But no, I didn't see a spaceship, nothing came down. I didn't go down to the Agartha land under Gobi. I didn't have any special visitation from an entity or nothing that I am aware of. Okay, let me go back to the chat. Yeah, Cindy, I didn't have enough privacy. But on the other hand, like I'm saying, it's very difficult to go there alone. Very difficult to go there alone. I'm very glad that I went with this guy, but the drawback is that you are not alone enough. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, That I already showed you, yes. The bathrooms, if someone is asking about the bathrooms, well, some of these places did not have bathrooms. You could go to the bathroom in the lunch places. Like at lunch, we would stop at some kind of a diner where you could recharge your batteries. You could go to the bathroom. But some of these places did have bathrooms, especially made for travelers, because they are always accepting travelers. These families, they have these deals with the guides, with the drivers. So they are setting up these temporary bathrooms, and some of them had temporary showers as well. So it wasn't actually a problem. I thought I was going to be peeing, on the desert every day, but no, it wasn't that bad. But also, this is subjective because there are standards and there are standards. I'm talking about me. My standards are very low, like when it comes to stuff like that. Like I can just not have anything, and I'll be like, oh, this is so luxurious. And some people are a bit different in that regard. So from my point of view, it was perfectly okay. The bathrooms were okay, if they were there. The showers were okay as well. Well, there was some stream there falling, but there's water. No problem at all. So that will be that. Now, wait until the end, because I'm going to actually share with you that monastery experience. The monastery experience at the end of the trip, where I went, where I got this revelation about what. So wait for that. Do you have any other questions about the Gobi itself? Because I could... tipping for appreciation. Yeah, tipping, yes, you could tip people. The bushes are the bathrooms, if there are bushes. That's the thing. The Filipino girl had the umbrella because sometimes there are no bushes and you see people peeing on the side of the road all the time. Well, I was surprised that there were not many dogs. Actually, in the city itself, no dogs. Some dogs, but not so much comparing to Finland. Finland is a dog-obsessed place, which means there are dogs everywhere and they don't have shelters for dogs. There's no dogs. It's so strange, no? I wanted to adopt a dog. I didn't want to have a beagle. We wanted to rescue a dog because that's how I usually would do that. But to do that, you have to apply for a dog from Romania, from Spain, from Greece, Russia. And we tried that, but the line was very long, the process. Anyway, I'm skipping the story. We got the beagle. My point is, there, I didn't see many dogs. It's not like a big dog culture. Then there are dogs outside in the villages, and they are free. And there are also homeless dogs. Yes, very big dogs, by the way, big dogs. Did you ever see the stars at night there? I did a few times, a little bit, but not like, not like those magical stories that they are telling you about. I think it's because the most of the time it was cloudy. Well, actually, in this photo that I'm showing, this is quite sunny. I don't remember. I wasn't coming out of the ger a lot during the night, like I said, because I didn't want to disturb anybody. I didn't want to disturb the Filipino guys, and the Filipino guys were actually quite tired already. After 3 days, they were checking out mentally already, because they were like, oh, we are missing the civilization. They were missing the civilization. For me, it was the opposite. When we got out of the dirt roads, because most of these roads are dirt roads, they said, oh, finally, the cement road. And for me, it was like the opposite, cement road, the signs. I preferred to be in a dirt road territory. So after 3 days, they were already tired. And I didn't see them enjoy that much. Well, they did enjoy, yeah, they did, but not as much as me, and not as much as I would have wanted more. So I didn't want to disturb them. I didn't come out of the ger much at night. Did you drink horse milk? I didn't. I didn't drink horse milk, but I drank that tea with milk. Maybe that was a horse milk. Salty tea. I didn't like that. Though, is wind bad? Not too bad. I actually had a little drone with me, which I was flying, and I managed to keep it in the air, so it wasn't that bad. No. What about poo-poo? Well, like I said, there are those temporary bathrooms, and you can go there and do whatever you have to do. Only I think one time there wasn't any. But luckily that wasn't the night that I needed to do anything. And again, like I'm saying, for the lunch we were stopping each day. It was all that was also provided, included in the price. We were stopping at different lunch diners, local diners, and there you could go to the bathroom. It's okay, happy girl, thank you. This is just a casual chat. How to show thanks? You mean, Cassandra, how to show thanks to them? They were very shy, the families. Oh, they have this amazing custom. It didn't happen in all families, but they have this bottle with some kind of a aroma, some kind of a perfume aroma. And when they meet a newcomer, a stranger, or an old family member or friend, they are sitting in front of you, and they give you that perfume bottle with the right hand, and you have to accept it with the right hand. And what you do then is you sniff it, and you put it in your nose like that, and you say, thank you, and you give it back with the right hand. That's like their custom. It happened a few times, not with all families, but it happened a few times. So that was very interesting. And I love the music, not the music that I love. Supposedly it's not Mongolian, but close enough, Kazakhstan or somewhere there. Okay, next. Some cultures might get offended. Yeah. Okay, let's see what I have to say here about this. Okay. Yeah, on the way during the Gobi Desert trip, we also went to this oldest Buddhist monastery in Mongolia. It's called Erdenezu Monastery. And it's earliest surviving Buddhist monastery in the country. It was built in 1585 and also destroyed during the Stalin regime, but it's still standing. So that was a very, very nice visit as well. You can see the photos in my Facebook, okay? Now, if you don't have any more questions about the Gobi trip itself, background of that perfume, I don't know. I don't remember why. I think I asked the guide, Gala, why they were doing that. It's some kind of, he didn't know himself. It's some kind of a welcoming gesture. And that they would ask you, where are you from? How are you enjoying your trip? But after that, they didn't interact much. They didn't speak English, so there was not much communication. It was just through the guide. He was translating. I actually bought some candies, chocolates for the kids, for a few families, and they love it. Like if you're gonna do that, then it's recommended you go bring some candies or chocolates and distribute to the local kids. They are really cute and they are curious. We actually played basketball with some of these kids. One of the families, they had a hoop installed outside, and we were just like playing, no talking, just playing. So that was cute. But you see, because of all that, I couldn't spend enough time by myself. Who takes care of those dogs? You mean those dogs that live with the families? What the families do. But I didn't see those dogs being like super cozy with the families. They were like, just there. And one of the family had a cat, and it was huge. It was the biggest cat I've ever seen. Huge. It was just laying there. Okay, so now if you don't have any more questions, you can still ask questions as I go. I will go to the next part, which is ending part, and that is about that monastery part. This is super interesting. And in fact, it actually impacted me even more so than the Gobi itself. Well, more or less on the same level perhaps, but it was so surprising. And how it happened, cold, how was it? Well, actually it wasn't. I went there in June, so I saw your message before it was retracted. It was okay. It was okay. Not too cold, not too hot. What do they do for entertainment? Well, you see, we asked that question, yes. The kids go to school, actually. So the families drive them to the school, or there is some kind of a bus that, picks up these families somewhere, the kids. And the kids go to school, and then they just chill. I saw them just laying on their beds, playing on their phones. And then the kids were playing basketball outside as well. And the families, they are very busy. They are just taking care of the animals. Many times this is a tradition that runs in their families. They just have so much to do with that. They have to, take care of the animals. They make cheese, they make wool, meat, all these different things, milk. And then they trade that, they go, do business with that. And they take care of everything around in the camp, cooking, making sure it's set up, everything is set up. You would think there is nothing to do, but yeah, they didn't seem bored to me. The faces were harsh, were like busy and harsh faces. Yeah. One family lady, her husband died 2 years ago, so she now is alone with the kids, with the camp, with the girls, with everything, with the animals, and she seemed very tired. She was super generous. They were bringing us cookies. Do I have the photo of that? I wish I had the photo. Because in the last time I. Oh yeah, here, I didn't share that photo. You see, that's the lady I was telling you about. Super generous, no English, but she's giving us that tea with milk, with salt, and then candies, and they have these kinds of like breads or something. And that's our guide in the middle, Gala, and the Filipino couple. And super generous and super nice and kind. And then we were talking with each other, and she was just looking at us, peeling potatoes. She was peeling potatoes. Oh yeah, this is the okay. I'm missing pictures here. So this is the boy, one of the boys here playing basketball. What happened here with this photo was that I had my Insta camera sitting on the ground, which is recording all around, and he didn't know that the camera was recording his face. He was looking at the screen, and he thought he was just looking at the screen, but the camera was capturing him, and this is the shot that I took of him. So he was very curious in my camera. You see there's a bike, so they are biking around as well. And here's us with the Filipino couple eating breakfast. As our guide Gala was also preparing breakfast for us each morning. So here we are by ourselves, talking and enjoying breakfast. Here, that photo I already showed you. This photo as well. You see the faces? Like they're just busy, tired, occupied with their lives. Okay. Yes, so this is the part we've been waiting for. It says, happy girl. How cold was at night? Not much. I was okay. There were blankets, and it was fine. Yeah, the boy was so cute. Their big cheeks, and the kids are super cute. Super cute. Okay, so now, this is a very interesting turn of events, what happened with that monastery. Because before I met this family of the monk that owns that monastery, I saw that monastery on the top attractions to do around the city, because it's an hour drive from the capital city of Mongolia. It's called Aryapala Meditation Center. So I had it on my list to go. And then when I am asking, is there anybody living in Mongolia? A few people, my followers, respond, and one of them, there is this girl called Sky. That's her name, Sky. Hello, if you're watching, not sure. Sky. And she says that she's been a long-time follower, that she is just so grateful for everything and it changed her life, and she's just so amazed that I'm going to Mongolia. She's not living in Mongolia right now, she's living in United States. But her family lives there, and she starts telling me about her family. And apparently, that's her family there. Her family, her dad, owns that monastery. That's her family. The monk that built that monastery is her father. So she's telling me like, yeah, you know, my family owns this monastery. I say, oh, okay. It's called Aryapala. I was gonna go there, no kidding. And he said, yeah, that's my dad. He built it. And you are welcome to come in and stay as long as you want. So I'm thinking, oh my God, this is just unbelievable. Like, first of all, it's unbelievable that I'm finding someone who knows me there in Mongolia, and then to be invited by this family, because then she told them about me. Some of them also know about my work, mainly through Sky, and they are inviting me, yeah, that I can come and stay there, no problem. So I took advantage of it. I took the took the invitation. I accepted the invitation, and I went there for 3 days. 3 nights. 3 nights. And this is the place. This is the entrance to that place. This is the entrance to the place. It's actually a public, even though it's a private property, they live there on that property, just them, in their gers, few gers, but also this is open for the public. This is one of the popular place where Buddhists, not only Buddhists, come, because on top of the hill there is that temple, and there's just, you know, some buildings to enjoy beautiful nature. One second. Wait. Where is the photo of the monastery? Oh, there. Okay, so there you see. This is the main temple where you go, follow the stairs, and there is that temple there that people go visit, and it closes each day at 7 p.m. So at 7 p.m. it closes, but I was there next to the family to enjoy this whole area by myself alone after the closing hours. And this is the temple above, where I actually meditated here in this location by myself each evening. When the people were already gone and everybody was gone, it was closed for the public. The temple was closed as well. The family comes and closes it, locks it. Well, I was here, exactly here, and just meditating, listening to some meditating music, and just contemplating. Each evening. This is the family, by the way. Sky, she's not in the photo because she's living in the United States. But this is the father, this is the man, the monk that built this monastery. Let me just tell you about him in a second. But first, you see this building here on the right, the yellow? That's where I stayed. They stayed in the gers on the right, and then it was totally empty. There you can see the entrance to this whole complex in the center. And then at 7 o'clock, it's totally empty. I lived in this building on the right, yellow, where Buddhist monks come sometimes to stay. But they allowed me to stay there by myself. It was empty. It was completely empty. Now, was I afraid to stay in that place? A little bit, because it was so huge, and there were all kinds of sounds there at night. There was birds walking on the roof, which I didn't know at the beginning, and then they told me, no, it's the birds that are walking, but it sounds like steps, step, and creaks and steps, and then the steps stop, and then they go to the right, and they creak some more. So imagine that in the middle of the night, hearing that. Okay, One night I actually had to put the lights on because okay, I was just thinking we're better off here with some lights. But 2 nights with no lights on. But it was but in general it was very peaceful. In fact, I am surprised how peaceful I felt and protected. And this is something I want to mention. At that time, I didn't know anything about the word itself, Aryapala, or what this means, this place. But I just felt this protective energy. I felt very like cozy, like someone took me in their arms and just protected me from something. And I felt super peaceful, even at night, with those sounds. And Aryapala, actually, that's what it means. Arya means noble, exalted, spiritually advanced. That's in Sanskrit. And Pala, it means protector, guardian, keeper, protector. So it's noble presence, noble protecting presence. That's what Aryapala means. And the word in Sanskrit. And that's exactly what I felt. I didn't even know what that word means. But just, yeah, I felt protected, protection. And in that location, when I was there, that's exactly when I started to, when I got this sign. Because, okay, I went to Mongolia because I wanted to go to Mongolia. But then, I also went there determined to receive some kind of sign that would indicate to me one way or the other. I was open to one way or the other, which way we should go with you know what situation. Where should we go with this? Because it was just killing me for all this time. And I said to myself, something must happen in Mongolia. Something will happen. I don't know. I was even expecting like, oh, I don't know, ship will come down and Yaski will appear. I'm just saying, you know, or this and this being appears or something. Like, it's going to be some kind of a sign. It has to be. Because it's been enough of this. You know, we need to know how to proceed. Yes, wiggle room. You were embraced by the meditations of so many monks. I also felt that. Yeah, that presence, that meditative energy was in the air, even in that yellow building. So, turtle. Okay, wait. So I went there with that in mind, that something's going to happen. And well, I'm not going to go into details of the nature of that sign, but something happened. It's too personal for now, but it's something happened that gave me the indication. And I remember that I got this clarity. Okay, and I wrote to Robert and I said, I know, because he was also waiting for me. He was waiting for something to happen in Mongolia, because I told him something's going to happen in Mongolia and we will know what to do. And he said, okay, so we're not going to do anything yet. Just go to Mongolia and see what happens. This was supposed to be some kind of a nexus point. And it did, and it happened. So the fact that I received that sign there, manifesting that sign in that location, in that super protective energy bubble, where I felt so peaceful and so, like, I even told the monk, this man, I said to him, I'll tell you about him in a second. I told him, I feel like I'm in another plane. As soon as you cross the gate, or you like cross that gate, the picture I showed you, you feel like you are stepping into another plane, another realm. That's how I felt. And the fact that I was receiving that sign there, and not sign in another direction, but in this direction that we took, well, this additionally confirms to me that we are on the right path with this, that this is the right decision. I could have received another direction signal, but I didn't. I have to trust that. I have to trust what happened. I have to trust what I manifested with this, how it presented itself. Because like I said, I was totally open to receive the sign in another direction. I'm like, okay, something is going to confirm to me that everything is okay. Okay, then I would have gone down that direction. But the sign showed me that that it's not okay. So unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm trusting that voice and I'm trusting that place. I'm trusting that Arya Pala energy bubble. Um, Now I'll tell you a little bit here. I'll show you the photo of this man. Well, this is the family. Oh my gosh. When I met this family, first of all, super nice, very nice people, like all Mongolians. A little distance sometimes in general because of the language or something. You know, they live in their bubble as well. But this man, when I first saw him, he's sick, by the way, okay? He's not very well physically. And he's there sitting and resting a lot of time. But I don't know if you can see it here, but as soon as I entered that ger, he looked at me. And he looked at me so deeply in the eyes. And he was just staring at me. He speaks no English. And he was just staring at me as I was talking to his daughters, that's his daughters and the granddaughters. And we just like locked eyes, and he was like looking straight into my soul. I can't describe it. For sure you know the feeling with some people, and they have this quality that they just look at you and you feel it right inside of you. Well, this is how I felt. And I even told him this through the daughters. I said, wow, your energy just like, it went straight to my heart. So what I did, I sat next to him. I took his hand in my hand, and we were like just like looking at each other for a moment, you know, and I squeezed his hand. And I felt so much emotion in me, and I wanted to hug him. And so I hugged him. I even kissed him on his head. I hugged him and I held him like tight. And then he started having tears in his eyes. And then his daughter started having tears in his eyes. Also, it was because they asked me, how do I feel about this place? So I said, okay, tell your father this and that. Everything that I've been telling you, that I feel so elevated, that it's like kind of another realm, and you can definitely feel your energy. He constructed this place, everything. It took him like, I don't remember now, 20, 30 years. I wish I could actually read you the story that the daughter wrote me about him, but I deleted that message by accident. I can't retrieve that. But he basically, long ago, years ago, he got this calling to make this place, to make this special place. And little by little, he was building it throughout the years. And he was meant to build this for 2012, the transformation, for the star seeds, because he is a Buddhist monk, but he's also open, because his wife, which by the way, in Mongolia, they can have wives, his wife is very spiritual and open to other things. So she talked to him about extraterrestrials throughout the years. So he's very open. He knows about this stuff. So he was building this rock by rock, you know, a wooden piece by wooden piece, painting by himself, going on rocks, climbing. There's this sign, there's a Om symbol, and not only, there's some kind of a mantra painted on the rocks, super high. And in those times, 20 years ago or more, it was very difficult because they didn't have the same equipment. He had to like physically go there and paint all that. Every single detail is there. It's his essence. He imbued that location with his energy. So that's what I was telling them. And he started tearing up. And I did too, because I just felt so, like he went straight to my heart. I don't know, his presence. And sometimes people who don't talk, they have that impact. They have that power on you when they don't speak, but you just feel them. Especially, you know, when they don't speak English or they're just sitting there. And it's much more powerful than the communication. Like, it's telepathic. Forget the words. That's how it was. And it was just so special. I feel like he is so special. And yes, the power of the heart chakra. And yes, the soul family, Cassandra. Yes, very kind. Yes. So that's where I spent those last 3 days there. 1 kilometer from there, there's this turtle rock. This is a rock, also very spiritual energy. The Sky, the monk's daughter, who lives in the United States, she was telling me about how this place is full of, energy nodes and ley lines, and why it's so important for the Mongolia, and not just for the Mongolia, but for the Earth. So this location, for example, here, very charged. It's called Turtle Rock. No one lives in those gears, by the way. I walked there; it was locked up, but it looks like a turtle, no? And this is the view from the temple. And then on the last day, I discovered this in the same location near the temple. I discovered this hole in a rock. And look at that. You see me there? That's me in the middle sitting there. I'm sitting there in this hole. I took a picture with my little drone flying around me. And it was also super, super incredible experience just to be sitting there, and you cannot see the view from the other side, but the view was spectacular, and just sitting on top of that rock, it was very special. So it was just very divinely guided, all of this. Just I am in awe how I first discovered this Aryapala meditation center. I wanted to go there, and then I meet a girl, Sky, who's apparently a follower of the channel, and her father built it, and I got invited to that location, and I spent there 3 nights, and in this heavily charged by the monks, center, and meditating by myself in front of that temple. And the father, the monk, his energy, it was just so mystical, so special. So again, for me, the fact that I got that clarity there confirms to me 100,000,000% that that I'm on the right track. Like I told you before in the first original video, the 3-hour video, I think, if I got this message in a location that is negatively charged, I go to the bar and wow, I get this epiphany of what to do in a bar, then you wouldn't exactly trust that intuition, the voice, but it came from there. It came from there, from that pure location, from that pure man, from that pure energy. So I have to trust that voice. Now I don't have any more photos here to share with you. I have been talking more than an hour. Oh my gosh, it has been 2 hours. So we're gonna finish this live. I could be talking and talking much more, of course. I skipped through all these different days and what happened there. I'm very grateful again to all the group of the Cosmic Agency friends that met me there, and super generous. They gave me gifts and they invited me to places, and MK was helping, and she drove me back to the airport with a friend as well, a Cosmic Agency friend. It was just incredible, and that monastery thing was just took it over the top completely for me. It was so magical. So if you have any more questions, well, Cindy, we trust our good, because I understood in the beginning we trust your intuition. Yeah, you have to trust. We trust our intuition, exactly, your intuition, because this is my intuition. This is what I got, but in the end, you also have to decide yourself. And I said that before. So I don't want you to be following me just because of my intuition. Maybe this is a sign for me, but maybe a path for you is different. So you still have to follow your own signs. Ask. If you are still confused somewhere along the way, maybe just ask for a sign like I did. Act. I missed half. Yes, so I need to watch from the start. Yes, it was divinely guided. Thank you very much, guys. What else do I have to show you? I think I showed you everything. I showed you the camel. I showed you the hat. I mean, not the hat. The cup. I showed you tea. I showed you the protecting face. the girl, the cereal bowl, the stones. Mongo, are you bored? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But tomorrow we are going. Tomorrow we are going to the little town here nearby. Mongo should have fun. Trying still to enjoy the summer here. Thank you very much. So I'm gonna look at your chat very briefly. There are some messages that are retracted. Wiggle room. That monastery washed away all of your self-doubts and allowed you to see clearly what you already knew. Yes, I think so. Exactly, because I already knew, yes, but I was like trying so hard not to accept that. Like, no, it has to be good. It is good, right? And I was like justifying millions directions and giving it the millions benefits of the doubt. And yeah, that monastery, anyway, the monastery is my favorite part. Thank you for taking the time to share this wonderful trip. Happy girl. Thank you for listening. Marianne, it's good that you listen to your intuition. It's the best thing one can do, and this trip will surely show your everything you have to do. I mean, in the end, like in some kind of a situation where I can be proven wrong, whatever, but what do we always say? And what did Svaru say in that last video? In the end, you have to trust your intuition. You have to. What else is there to do? You have to trust your intuition. And it's not just based on the intuition, as you know. I'm not going to be rehashing this, but the intuition in the end is the ultimate compass. The redstone kind of looks like petrified wood. I don't know. Maybe you can know that. No. Bent, thank you very much. No important message from me, Gosia. Only that I support you and that I love the community here. Wiggle room. I also collect stones from wherever I go. Yes, I do. Sometimes I actually have so many that I forget where they are from. So I started writing because I don't want to put writing on it because I feel like it's disturbing the resonance of the stone or something. But in some of them I had to put something because I would forget where they are from. These for now are pure, no writing. I have them placed around the girl so I know what place they belong to. Thank you guys. I'm gonna go now. Tomorrow we're gonna go for a few days away to the village nearby to enjoy summer, and I'll see you when I'm back. And when I'm back, I'm going to share with you some interesting stories actually from the past, interesting conversations and interesting stories from the past. And so on and so on and so on. I have a lot of things to do. With the Space Academy, I also have to get back to it, but I don't know. I'm focused on this cosmic agency here, what I have to do for the cosmic agency. So I will get back to Space Academy, but give me some time. Yes. Okay, guys. I'm gonna go now. Rest, eat something. Bye, everybody. Bye, 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 bye.